I'm Brian Goldfinger of Goldfinger Injury Lawyers. Is your insurance company forcing you to go back to work when your doctors say you can't? If this sounds familiar, look no further than my law firm. Visit goldfingerlaw.com and get us working for you.
Hello and welcome to the Raptors Reaction Podcast. I'm your host, William Loom, speaking to you after the Toronto Raptors took down the Los Angeles Lakers by a score of 111-98 on Thursday night at Scotiabank Arena. It was, quite honestly, for a game involving LeBron James and the Raptors in March, there was very little hype going into it. And, obviously that's because the Lakers are out of the playoff pictures and, they suck. They straight up suck. They did not play well tonight. It's just a weird feeling, really, because, so much of my mental energy as a Raptors fan, as someone that covers the Raptors, has been spent on LeBron, especially at this time of the year, sort of really focusing on, a game like this. I remember last year when the Raptors played the Cavs late in the year, right? It was like that barn burner. It was like 132, 129 or something like that. And it ended with like a pass over the Kevin Love hitting some corner threes or whatever. But I remember breaking down the video, watching it like multiple times, and just really, really calculating whether or not the Raptors, could do something to the Cavaliers finally in the playoffs. And, you always looked at these games as like the ultimate measuring stick was the last time you played LeBron. But now, it has no meaning. LeBron literally got tired of beating up on the Raptors and dipped. And, from that perspective, it's, I don't know. It's kind of sad, really. I would have really liked to see this team, this current version of the Raptors, go up against, LeBron's Cavs. To be honest, I'm not even entirely sure if the Raptors could have beaten that team with their current roster the way it is. And I know that's crazy because the Raptors made all these additions, but that's just how good LeBron is. Although right now, LeBron, man, there's some empty ass 29 points, if there's even a way to say that. But anyway, to the game itself, the Raptors were just clearly in control this whole time. They took an early lead. They held it. The Lakers never really made much of a run. I really thought LeBron would come on strong against the Raptors bench because the Raptors were missing a couple pieces. Kyle out with that ankle injury that he sustained against the Cavaliers. You figure he's kind of, a game time decision kind of thing, but it's nice to see Kyle finally getting some rest because the man deserves it. Obviously, Serge Ibaka was suspended, so he wasn't in this game. And the Fred VanVleet is still recovering. I thought he had actually taken the wrap off his wrist, but there was also a shot of him on the bench today with the wrap or the cast on. I'm not really sure which one it was, so I don't know. Maybe we'll see. Hopefully, he returns in a week. But so the Raptors were playing real short-handed, and so the biggest impact was felt on the bench because the Raptors opened up the second quarter with Chris Boucher. Playing heavy minutes. OG was out there, McCaw was out there, Powell was out there, and Pascal. And, on the other side, you got LeBron. But honestly, I don't think LeBron tried very hard in this game. He didn't really look that engaged. Even the bench unit held their own. Even like Boucher got a couple of nice defensive plays against LeBron. The one guy that actually gave the Raptors some trouble was Rajon Rondo. I thought he did a really good job of just running the team. But then you look at the box score there, and the man was a minus 15 in 30 minutes. The assists were nice, though. He was kind of breaking down the Raptors at the point of attack and getting into the paint and then kicking it out and stuff. But, the Raptors bench held on strong, mostly thanks to Norman Powell, who, man, this is probably his best game of the year. 20 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 7 of 14 from the field, hit 3 threes. Hit his first 3 threes and then, cooled off. But, that's a great game. 24 minutes for Norm as the number one option off the bench. Was really confident and aggressive with his offense, especially when he first checked into the game. Was red hot from deep. I think he had 12 points just in the first quarter alone. And then the rest of the game, he kind of sustained himself off transition plays and stuff like that. And, overall, it was a good game. Really good game from Norm. And kind of an important one because, again, the bench is really lacking. When I list out those names back, it's not what you want to see from the Raptors. Obviously, they're very deep, but you lose 3 rotation pieces. This is what happens, right? Norm held on strong. Kawhi ended the first half with a running banked in. No, it wasn't even a banked in 3. It was a straight on 3. That famous game winner Dwayne Wade had when he like stole the ball off John Salmons and then ran the length of the floor and then and hit a running three and then jumped on the table and said, "This is my house." First off, peak Dwayne Wade, very very fun to watch. But yeah, that's basically what Kawhi did, except he had two guys on him, and he had like 3 seconds to go the other way. And the funny thing with Kawhi is just there's no reaction whatsoever. Like any other player hitting a running 3-pointer to beat the buzzer right before half would, do some kind of celebration, smile, like turn back, try to like, soak up the limelight, high five his teammates, make sure the cameras get him and everything like that. Literally all Kawhi did was put his hand up, signifying it was a 3-point shot, which it was, and then head straight to the bench. Literally, I think he was like the second or third guy into the locker room. Like, it's just funny, and obviously no emotion as well. But yeah, I mean, Lakers didn't really put on much of an effort in the second half. They only had 14 points in the fourth quarter, which is really weird because Raptors didn't even play Jeremy Lin in the fourth quarter, didn't play Danny Green in the fourth quarter, didn't play Marc Gasol in the fourth quarter. Gasol looked like he actually had a bit of a shoulder thing. He was holding it for a little bit in the third quarter, kind of got banged up, going for a loose ball with Kyle Kuzma. But the Raptors didn't play, most of their vets. They brought Kawhi back in and Pascal kind of played, but for the most part, they closed the game with OG, Norm, McCaw. Eric Moreland got into the game. He just signed a 10-day contract. He got to finish out the final 5 minutes of the game. And it wasn't like the Raptors had this 20-point lead or whatever. And there was still LeBron on the other side, right? Like, you just would have figured that Nurse would have, at least I would have thought that Nurse would have played it safe, but he held out his vets. He let the young guys close it out. And quite honestly, LeBron didn't really have enough juice to... Man, the guy was like struggling to score against Eric Moreland. It was weird. It's weird to see LeBron the way he is right now. It's just like when a guy devastates your life, you at least hope that they continue devastating your life just because, at least that's consistent that way, right? You don't want to just see them like stop caring about that. But yeah, LeBron just doesn't care anymore. And yeah, I mean... The Raptors didn't either. They put Eric Moreland out against LeBron. So a couple things to take away from this game. Not too much really, to be honest, but a couple things. One, I like that Kawhi actually, guarded LeBron. Normally Kawhi would take some shifts off defensively against some easier opponents. I think part of that was probably that it was on TNT. And, you always want to play your best on national TV, but also I think part of it was also just a game plan in terms of just you can't have Pascal guard LeBron, with the starters and then ask Pascal to anchor the bench unit to play backup center and also to be the main option on for the bench and then also on top of that guard LeBron. So you got to make some concessions there, and Kawhi picked it up. He guarded LeBron for a lot of possessions there, and to be honest, LeBron didn't really want to go at Kawhi. There's kind of no point in it, like most players just don't want to do it. So that was nice to see. Obviously, you want to see Kawhi, be fully utilized defensively. It's because obviously, 2-time defensive player of the year and stuff like that. Pascal, like I mentioned, you gotta tip your hat to him, honestly, because this is a really exhausting shift by him. He only shot 3 of 16 from the field, but and 0-4 from deep, but. Honestly, man, he had to do so much on both ends of the floor. I feel bad for him. Again, he had to, play with the starting unit, play with the bench. He had to play. He played 39 minutes in a game that was otherwise a blowout. But the thing is, he was needed because it's not like you can really extend Boucher or Moreland's minutes. Those guys give you 13 minutes off the bench, but Gasol only played 26. So you still had to fill a lot of minutes at center. You still have him in the starting and closing lineups, and then. I just thought that Pascal, I don't think he fully had as much energy going up offensively. He came up short in a couple of shots. He still got to the free throw line, so he was still determined to get. He got 12 free throws. That's really nice to see. But really, the one area where Pascal didn't really let his energy wane was defensively. He still got 2 steals, 2 blocks. Was really active on that end. So, given an option, you would obviously trade. A couple of shanked layups for some really really inspired defensive play, and Pascal got some nice blocks, and just credit to him for having to work so hard in this game. Gasol got to start with this, with Serge out, still didn't play extended minutes. It's still a little bit curious. Nurse said he was fine with the shoulder, but doesn't really quite make sense to me why you would want to get an extended look at Eric Moreland. I mean, the guy rebounds. That's, he's a big body. It's kind of standard stuff. But while he was out there, Gasol, pretty effective with his offense. I like that he took a lot more jumpers today. First off, he took 10 shots in 26 minutes. That's not usually the case. He really has been, passing off a lot of shots. He took 4 threes finally as a Raptor. That's something where, he hit 2, but seriously, I don't care if he hits 0. Like, he has to take these shots. Like, these open threes that he's been passing up in favor of swinging the ball, some of it's nice of him being unselfish or whatever, but, like, also, like, the Raptors need him to space the floor. They need him to be able to hit these jumpers. We know he can hit these jumpers. He's a good shooter. He just hasn't taken many of them, but today he took them. I want to see him average 4 threes a game, period. Like, attempts. Like, just, hoist him up, man. You're a good shooter. You should shoot the ball. And when he stretches the floor, it really helps everyone else in terms of just, like, opening a lane for Pascal to drive, for Kawhi to drive, for Kyle to drive and stuff. So, otherwise, regular Gasol game, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, plus 17 in 26 minutes. I thought McGee got the better of him a couple times on just some hustle plays, but overall, Gasol just dominated him and had a good game. Jeremy, I don't know. I mean, he had 9 points and 7 rebounds, but I don't know. It just feels really underwhelming watching him right now. And then the bench I mostly talked about. So in terms of your 3 stars, I'm going with Norm, number 1. It's just a rare opportunity for Norm to get it, but 20 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and a block off the bench. 7 of 14 shooting, 3 triples, 4 trips to the free throw line in 24 minutes. That's very good. You can't ask for anything more from Norman Powell. Second star, I'm giving that to Kawhi, I guess. 25 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. 8 of 20 from the field. He honestly kind of got shorted on a couple free throws, but I'm not going to complain. The Raptors shot 29 free throws tonight. Was pretty good from deep, 5 of 8. Obviously had that running 3 at the end, but overall, I mean, just, this is kind of an average Kawhi game, but that's just kind of all it took in this one to get the victory. And then third sub, I'm going to Pascal just because this man had to work really hard. He had to work really hard. He had to work harder than everyone else tonight, and there's something to be said about that. So, in terms of the Gerald Henderson Award, I'm very tempted to give it to LeBron as slander, but no, that will be rude. That will be rude. Can't talk shit about your dad. So I'm giving it to Alex Caruso, who very much looks like a dad. Man, that man is balding fast. Like, it's but anyway, I mean, I've actually always liked this game. Wiry guy, pretty good defensively actually, good instincts as well. 16 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. I've never really understood why he's consistently been a G League guy. Like, he is definitely a rosterable NBA player. He's very smart. He can shoot a little bit, but for the most part, he's like a McCaw type, but McCaw with a little bit more offense and not as much defense. Like, that's not bad. That's a serviceable player. So. Shout out Caruso with his 16, 5, 5, 5 of 7 shooting with 5 free throw attempts as well. Honestly gave the Lakers a big boost in the first half until the Raptors sort of, put the clamps to them in the second half. But still, good game by Caruso. And that does it for the podcast. Stay safe out there, guys. Peace.